The Jamaican dollar is approaching 150 to 1 US. Whoa! But don't say I didn't warn you. A few episodes ago, I did tell you to keep watching the foreign exchange market. So I hope you've been paying attention. Hey guys, I'm Kalila Reynolds and it's time for another episode of Money Mondays JA, brought to you in partnership with Proven Wealth. Keep watching because today I'm gonna tell you what's likely to happen and what you can do about it. Now before we get going, just a reminder to like this video so that YouTube shows it to more people, subscribe to this channel and turn on those post notifications so that you can be among the first to see new videos when they drop. And if you find anything at all useful in this episode, please just share it with a friend. Now let's get to it. The rapid depreciation of the Jamaican dollar to record lows against the US is unfortunately another side effect of COVID-19. As of Friday, May 15, the dollar was being sold for, on average, $147.12. That's a 9% slide since May 10, when the country recorded its first case of COVID-19. On that date, the exchange rate was at $135.42 to 1 US. Now it's approaching 150, and this is the lowest the local currency has ever been. So what happens when the dollar is depreciating and what's causing it to depreciate? Before I answer these questions, let me first explain what the foreign exchange rate is. Well, the FX rate is the price for 1 US dollar. It tells you how many Jamaican dollars you have to give up in order to get 1 US dollar in exchange. Now that we all understand that, let me tell you what happens when the dollar is depreciating. If each time we go to the bank or Cambio to buy US dollars, we have to give up more Jamaican dollars than the last time to get 1 US dollar, or if we get fewer Jamaican dollars back when we sell our US dollars, we say the dollar is depreciating or it's sliding, it's losing value. If the opposite happens, that is, each time you go to the bank, you give up fewer Jamaican dollars to get 1 US dollar, then we say the dollar is appreciating, it's going up. We say the dollar is at a record low because $147.15 is the most Jamaican money we've ever had to give up to get 1 US dollar. Now, the person buying the Jamaican dollar will say that relative to the US dollar, the Jamaican dollar has gotten cheaper. Now, why has the dollar been sliding? Like all other prices, the FX rate is determined by demand and supply in the foreign exchange market. Banks, authorized dealers, and investors buy and sell one currency in exchange for another. At the moment, demand for the US dollar is about normal, but the supply is very low. There are many more people who want to buy US dollars than people who have them to sell. So those with US to sell will charge those who want to buy a higher price. Now, why has it never been this low before? In the past, when the Jamaican dollar was depreciating relative to the US dollar because of high demand and low supply, the Bank of Jamaica would intervene and sell US dollars to the market, and the Jamaican dollar would appreciate because this increases the supply. Now, they still do that through their BFIXIT mechanism, which was introduced in 2017. BFIXIT, BFXITT, stands for the Foreign Exchange Intervention and Trading Tool. Just that they don't do it as much, they don't intervene as much because they've shifted their focus to inflation targeting. The BOJ believes it's more important to have low and stable inflation, meaning the cost of goods and services, stuff like food and your light bill, aren't going up too rapidly, rather than constantly monitoring the dollar. So you would have heard that jingle that they keep doing. Inflation's not the enemy if we control it. Stable, predictable. Yeah, that's the inflation targeting campaign. So for the past 3 years, since the BOJ introduced BFIXIT, we've had an exchange rate that goes both up and down based on demand and supply rather than just one way historically. So the good news is that even though it's at 147 now, that doesn't mean it's going to stay there. Yes, it may continue to go up for now because of the situation. I'm pretty sure it will go up a bit more. But once things stabilize and we have a stronger supply of US dollars, it may come back down. So what are the things that are wiping out the supply of US dollars, and what can you do? Well, Jamaica gets most of its foreign exchange from tourism and remittances. Hotels and Airbnbs get US dollars when tourists book their stay. Restaurants get it when tourists purchase meals to experience that Jamaican authentic cuisine. Yeah, man. Even the fruit vendors on the roadside get US dollars when the tourists stop to buy from them. So the closure of our borders and the suspension of travel because of COVID-19 means that these businesses are no longer getting US dollars, or any dollars for that matter. Remittances, another major source of US dollars, have also decreased because some businesses in the US have closed down and laid off their employees. Last week, close to 36.5 million people had filed for unemployment benefits in the United States. And some of these people are the ones who send money back home to family here in Jamaica. Now, they've either stopped sending money or they've reduced the amount of money that they're sending back home. And then there are others who still have a job and want to send money, but they can't because the remittance companies are closed as part of the lockdown. Now, the other way that people send money home is if, somebody who's traveling, you give them some cash and you say, pass it on to auntie. But as you know, most travel locked down now too. More than 3,000 Jamaicans are stranded abroad waiting to come home under the government's controlled re-entry program. So we've covered tourism and remittances. A third major source of US dollars is the BPO sector. That's business process outsourcing, or call centers. Large companies in the US hire companies in Jamaica to carry out different functions of their business, and they pay them in US dollars. But due to an outbreak of COVID cases at the Alorica call center in Portmore, the government ordered all companies in the BPO sector closed until May 31 to stop the spread. And if the business is closed, then no work can go on, and no work means no US dollars. On top of that, we haven't even been exporting any bauxite. So what does this mean for you? Why can't we just stop buying US dollars if there aren't enough to go around? When will we get more US dollars? Well, there's still demand for US currency for various reasons. First of all, we still need to eat. Many of us have foreign taste. So importers need US dollars to bring in food items as well as food, clothes, fuel, among other items. And we can reduce this pressure on the exchange rate by buying more local items, especially agricultural produce. Maybe hold off on the clothes shopping for now, because where you going anyway? No dance, not keeping. Another need for US dollars comes from multinational companies in Jamaica that repatriate profits to their owners abroad. But as you know from watching Money Mondays JA and taking stock, the Bank of Jamaica has asked financial institutions to hold off on dividend payments for now. Now, dividends are shareholders' share of the profits. Take a look at my interview with the BOJ Governor Richard Biles a few weeks ago on taking stock to understand more about that. So what else can you do as you watch the dollar just sliding and sliding? Well, don't panic. The foreign exchange rate will likely come back down, as I explained earlier. But when? That is the question. No one can accurately predict, as the appreciation of the dollar depends on the opening of our ports to accept visitors and the recovery of the U.S. economy. As to how long that will take, no one knows for sure. I hear the tourism minister and the prime minister talking about reopening tourism as early as next month or sometime in July. But in the meantime, what you can do is say yes to fresh, build Jamaica, buy Jamaica, eat what we grow what we eat. Sound familiar? When we consume more Jamaican-made products, we reduce the demand for imported items, which reduces the demand for US dollars. And we know that when a lot of people aren't buying something, stores give discounts. Just like the stores, people who want to sell the US dollar will have to sell it at a lower price. The Jamaican dollar will appreciate against the US dollar, and then we'll fork out fewer Jamaican dollars to get US dollars. Now, you may be wondering if you should buy US dollars now, just in case it continues to go up dramatically. Now, I think that would only exacerbate the problem. Hoarding US dollars when you really don't need it only puts more pressure on the foreign exchange rate, as it makes those dollars that we do have even more scarce. So please just leave the supply for our manufacturers, for example, who need US dollars to buy raw materials, and our farmers who may need them to buy pesticides and equipment. Now, I won't deny you may be able to make a quick buck, emphasis on maybe, because there's no guarantee the dollar will go either way. But I'd urge you to think about the bigger picture and how you may be making things worse for the economy if you do that. So I'll keep watching the foreign exchange rate to see if it goes any higher. I usually post #BreakingMoneyNews on Twitter and on my IG stories at Kalila Ray. Proven also posts business news regularly on their IG stories at We Are Proven. So go follow those pages and subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kalila Ray, and turn on those post notifications. In the meantime, here's what's coming up on Taking Stock. First up, with the shortage of personal protective equipment PPE, especially N95 masks caused by the rapid spread of the coronavirus, Jamaican-based company Novamed has stepped in to fill that gap. We'll hear more from founder of Novamed, Dr. David Walcott. And later, the analysts weigh in on the latest market developments, a massive $120 billion blow to the budget due to COVID-19. What does this mean for the economy? Should the government reopen every sector in efforts to get dollars flowing? That's it for this episode of Money Mondays JA, brought to you in partnership with Proven Wealth. Thanks for watching. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Stay safe.